The Ivy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The League of Ivy Extraordinary Gentlemen. You're listening to what we say. We said we had to say. The Ivy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The League of Ivy Extraordinary Gentlemen. You're listening to what we say. We said we had to say.
Good afternoon, the Ivy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Hello, hello. It has been a long time. We are in week 5. We haven't had a podcast since week 1 when I recorded that last solo one. I don't know. That got the boys a little fired up, so I figured I'd record another one. How about another solo? Another solo from the guy, from the king of podcasting. Well, we got an action-packed little 15-minute podcast here for you, so I'm just going to jump right into it, boys, okay? Okay? All right. Well, starting off, I just have something to say about Skylar, Schwer, and Charlie just playing like 100 holes of golf in the last 72 hours. Like, what the hell is going on? You guys are just out there playing golf all weekend? Private courses, 1-ply toilet paper at the golf courses? What is this? Schwer's always complaining that he doesn't have any money and he can't do this, can't do that, but he's playing 100 holes of golf just for fun. What's going on here? Girlfriends, wives, jobs, children? Don't you guys have this stuff? Come on. What's going on here? What's the secret? How you doing it? We all want to know. Gideon, going to Chicago to see a friend's marathon? The fuck is up with that? Where were you for my 5K the other day, bud? I was up here gunning for first place, and you were nowhere to be seen, but you're flying to Chicago to see someone that you barely know running a marathon? Come on. I ran an ultra last year. Were you there for that? No, you weren't. You didn't even say congrats. Jesus Christ. Caldwell, how's fatherhood, bud? You know, you've been talking a lot of shit this year. I actually love it. You've been active. You've been a king. You've been a legend. You're acting like a champ. But, you know, and I just want to let the insiders or the other guys know here what's going on with the insider information. You know, I was trying to get Caldwell. There's 2 people that I could have traded with last week to fill my second quarterback position. It was Cobb, who was coming off a big win against me, and he was pretty fired up about that. He's pretty cocky, you know, and he was throwing around some bad deals for me. Let's say Dak Prescott and Zach Wilson for Justin Herbert straight up, I think it was. I almost took it. I almost did. I was desperate at the end there. But, you know, then I went to Caldwell once I realized I wasn't going to get anything out of Cobb. And, you know, I threw him some good trades. I think I threw him Justin Herbert for like a Lamar and maybe like, you know, a second-tier wide receiver, like a Devontae Smith that's just been having a down year or whatever. And he came back to me and he said, I listened to a podcast and they said that Justin Herbert's overperforming and that Lamar's on the up and up. And I said, okay, buddy, good luck. And then instead of just saying, all right, see you later, he goes, and by the way, Scary Terry's going to put up 20 plus against you tonight. Well, how'd that work out for you, big guy? Not very good, did it? I think Lamar looked like garbage in that game against whoever they played. The Falcons? No, I don't even know who they played. Wasn't good. Steelers. The Steelers defense dominated him. Interceptions in the end zone in the last 2 minutes, a friggin' fumble. Ended up with 9 points. Then Scary Terry, what'd he do? Meanwhile, DJ Herbert on the other side of the ball is putting up 230 yards on 8 receptions and 3 touchdowns. You kidding me? Talking a lot of shit. But, you know, he's the ex-champ. I was happy to put him to bed. You know, I lost to him in the championship last year. It was nice to see the king fall at the hands of his most recent enemy in the championship. Anyway, moving on. Caldwell, hey, congrats on being a father. Fatherhood looks delightful. It's funny, nothing about the pictures that you send has changed other than the fact that there's a small human in them now, which I guess is a pretty big change. But I hope it's going well. I hope you're doing a good job. I hope you love the baby. I hope she loves you. And I hope that continues for a long, long time into the future. Okay, Charlie, hey, bud, I just wanted to call you out here. It's looking dark. And I think the worst part about that is that there was never a light. There was never light for you. It's always been dark. You know, the Jonathan Taylor thing coming back, comes out. He's coming back, big contract, snap count for a month. Now you're 8 weeks into the season, and then Jonathan Taylor's going to start getting fired up? I don't think so. Not with Zach Moss doing what he's doing. I don't know. It looks interesting out there, but we'll see. Sell him high, baby. Just sell him high. I'll take him. I still will. We were trying to get that deal done. Okay, enough of that shit. I want to get into a little bit what I talked about in week 1, which was I gave you guys some top 5 predictions at each position. So I just want to say what I said and see where we're tracking. So let's get into it. Top 5 QBs. I said at week 1, it was going to be Jalen, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Kirk Cousins. The actual top 5 right now. And don't look at the ESPN app. Our points are a little wonky. I was looking at half-point PPR leagues in fantasy footballers rankings. So they're not exact, but they're about right. So the actual right now is Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, who snuck his way into number 3 after the last couple of weeks, having big weeks. Kirk Cousins, number 4 still. He's been working his way down the ladder. For a while there, he's number 1. And then you got Tuna Tagovailoa at number 5, who's just been having a nice season. At running backs, I said Bijan, number 1. Austin Eckler, number 2. Nick Chubb, number 3. Josh Jacobs, number 4. Christian McCaffrey, number 5. I'm pretty wrong. The actual top 5 now is pretty alarming. You got Christian McCaffrey at number 1, which with the way he's running, you're not surprised. But then you got Davon Achane. You got Raheem Mustard. 2 Miami's Dolphins running backs in top 5. That's not going to stay. That's not sustainable, is it now, boys? Okay. We got Travis Etienne, who was a nothing until this past week. He scored 40 points. And then you got Kieran Williams. Who would have guessed? No one saw any of that coming. But we'll see how it plays out through the season. I would say that's going to get shaken up a lot as we go. In the wide receiver department, I said Jamar at number 1, Justin number 2, Tyreek number 3, Garrett Wilson number 4, and Amon-Ra at 5. Where the fuck is Amon-Ra? I feel like I haven't even seen him. Is he playing? What's going on? Got actuals at Tyreek number 1. DJ Moore, my guy, at number 2. He was having a steady season, but last week was nuts. Stephon Diggs at number 3. He's had a couple of big weeks. Justin Jefferson, who just got hurt, at number 4. And Puka Natuka, or however you say his last name, at number 5, which is very cool. Everyone said when Cooper Kupp came back, he was going to have a down game. He didn't. Still put up 17 points. Anyway, moving on to tight ends. I said TJ Hawkinson was going to be number 1, Kelsey 3, Kittle 4, Kittle 3, Andrews 4, Evan Ingram 5. I couldn't have been further from wrong. We got Laporta at 1, Cole Kmet at number 2, Mark Andrews number 3, Travis Kelce at number 4, and I didn't even write down number 5. Let's see if I can quickly pull it for you guys. I can. At number 5, we got George Kittle. So, interesting. And George Kittle was nothing until last night when he scored 3 touchdowns. So, here nor there, take it with a grain of salt. These things, they change on a weekly basis. Also, I want to asterisk the fact that Justin Herbert is not in the top 5 QBs. He didn't play this past week. He was number 1 going into week 5. Now he's down to number 10. He didn't get points this week, so he's actually up there. Justin Fields is maybe not. Kirk Cousins maybe not in there. Jalen, Josh having nice seasons. Josh has been inconsistent, but I'm going to keep Justin Herbert in that top 5. I think once he comes back, we start getting bye weeks out of the way. You're going to see Justin Herbert way at the top there. And now, the moment that you've all been waiting for. Team rankings, okay? Beginning of the season, I said in the Ivy League, we were going to have Kyle at number 1, Matt at number 2, Dave number 3, Gus number 4, Skylar 5, Schwer 6. Okay? Now, where we actually are at. Dave number 1, Kyle at number 2. Those 2 teams are absolutely pounding the rest of the league in points for. I'm behind Dave by about, I think it's 9 points. This week I scored about 5 more points than him, or maybe 4 more points than him. So I'm 4 or 5 points back in points for. And guess what? To make it interesting, we're up against each other in week 6. So that's going to be the juggernaut showdown of the season. I'm excited. Dave's excited. We were chatting on the side today. It's going to be a ball buster. It's going to be a fun one. Both of us are at this point probably 2 wins away from the playoffs. So we're just out there having fun. We just want to see a good hard fought match. If I had to guess, I think Dave's going to pound me. And the reason I say that is because the Miami Dolphins are playing the Carolina Panthers. And when the Miami Dolphins have a nice matchup, it's tough to beat Dave because he's got Tuna and he's got Tariq. So tough. His comeback to that was, well, maybe Tyreek goes out for 200 yards in the first half. Tuna gets a couple titty passes, and then they just shut it down and start running the ball. That might be bad for him. Could be. Could not be. Who knows? Who knows? It's football, baby. Okay, now to close this little segment out, let's go into teams I like, okay? So teams I like, teams I don't like. All right, let's start with teams that I hate. At the top of this list, I'm going 3 teams I like. 3 teams I hate, and I'm going 4 teams that I love. I'm not going to go through the list of everybody. You guys don't want to hear my opinions on every team, so I'm just going to do, I just picked a few teams that I don't like, picked a few teams that I love, and I'm going to have a few things to say. So number 1, at the top of teams I hate, Charlie. I'm guessing you guys saw this coming, but Mac Jones as your starting quarterback, with no one else to sub in. The guy put up negative 1.6 points this week. Looks awful. The Patriots are getting absolutely pounded, which I hate to see as a Patriots fan. But the Pats do not look good. Things do not appear to be getting better. In fact, I think they're digressing. I think Mac Jones is getting worse. He's getting worse and worse every year. He's getting worse and worse by the game. I'm waiting for the Pats to bench him. I personally, as a Pats fan, want them to bench him. I've never liked him. Never thought. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like the way he plays. I don't like the way he talks to his teammates. I don't like the way he talks to his coaches. I think he's a brat. So don't like Mac Jones. Want him to get benched. Sucks that you have him on your team, Charlie, but that's on you, bud. Jonathan on a snap count. I mean, he's back. He's got a big contract. You got to think at some point in the season he's going to have a big game, but when is it too late, bud? When is it too late? It's not your fault. You got unlucky, but that's tough. That's really tough. You decided to keep him. You decided to wait it out. I don't think that's going to pay off for you. Cooper Kupp, though, he looked awesome. It almost looked like that was a fake injury that they put him on for 4 weeks just so that he could sit out for the first 4 games and come back and be just nice and healthy going into, the back of the season, as you might say. But Cooper Kupp in that Rams game, he looked dominant. He was catching everything Matt Stafford was looking for him. The Rams looked really good, even though they lost to the Eagles. Okay, team number 2 that I hate, Cobb. Sorry, buddy. I know you were really high on life, and that week you beat me. You put a good pounding on me. But I think I liked your team last week. Like after last week, I was like, I think Cobb has a good team. But then this week just absolutely ravished you with injuries. And it was sad to see. I don't like to see any of that. Travis Kelce, who just traded out Montgomery to Jeff for Travis Kelce. You see him roll an ankle. Then he came back and caught a touchdown, so you're probably not too worried about that. Let me just take a quick sip of my Silver Bullet, boys. That was a big sip for a Silver Bullet. Yeah, Kelce going out, that rolled ankle. He's fine, I'm sure. But then you got Davon at chain with a knee injury. He looks unstoppable, and just the Dolphins in general. But you hate to see him looking like he's got an injury. And then Justin Jefferson. Oh, man, he kind of just, as a Kirk Cousins guy, I did not like seeing just the way Justin Jefferson was just acting during the game. Like, Kirk Cousins was throwing him some bad passes, but usually, Justin Jefferson can catch those. He just wasn't catching passes, and then he pulled his hammy. And hammies with those wide receiver guys, you never like to see that. Team number 3 I don't like. Skylar Davis, who's 3-1. Could be 4-1 after tonight if Devontae Adams has a big night. But 3-1 Skylar Davis is absolutely greasing wins. Just greasing wins. And it is tough to watch, I got to say. I mean, kudos to you, Skylar. That's a well-managed team. But for the players that you got, I don't think this is going to last long. Just saying. Hunter Henry, Jared Jeudy, these guys in your starting lineup, they just don't look good and their teams look worse. Devontae is not himself with the Raiders in shambles. Travis Etienne is unpredictable. He's all over the place. Baker, Bryce, you trying to start these guys? They're pathetic. What's up with Patrick Mahomes? You know what I think it is? I think it's that the Chiefs can run the football now, and they don't have any good wide receivers. Isaiah Pacheco is a monster, the way that he runs. And I think they're handing the ball off. They're relying a lot more on the run. Travis Kelce, maybe a rolled ankle now. They're direct snapping it to Kadarius Toney. What the hell is going on with the Chiefs? I mean, they're winning games, but I don't know what's going on with Patrick in terms of fantasy. So who knows? I'm sure they'll turn it around. I'm sure Patrick will get it together as the season goes on. I'm sure he'll be fine. But yeah, Skyler's just greasing together wins. Teams I love. You got to have Dave at the top. Dolphins are unstoppable. Christian McCaffrey. I mean, if you've got a couple Dolphins players, Tyreek Hill, Tuga Latona, and you got Christian McCaffrey, I don't know who's going to beat you in the championship. I mean, if those guys all stay healthy, you're going to the ship, and it's just going to be a matter of luck on whether you win or not, or if you lose, I guess I should say. That's going to be unlucky. So I got Dave at the number one spot. He's my favorite team. I had to put myself up there. You know, number 2 is the team I love just because it's 1-2 in the rankings, me and Dave. And like I said, I'm behind him 9 points in points for, and we're ahead of everybody else by 100. So I like my team this year. I can't say that in the last 5 years, I've ever liked my team. And the reason why I think that my team is good is because it's a very diverse spread of players who can score. If you look at it week to week, it's not one player who's winning for me every week. I mean, guys are coming out of nowhere. DJ Moore, Breece Hall this week. I was trying to trade those guys. I was trying to trade them to Charlie. I was trying to trade them to Caldwell. I was trying to trade them to Cobb. I was trying to get rid of those two. And then they come out with massive weeks. And Breece Hall, off that snap count, I mean, they were playing the Broncos, so I'm not getting overly excited, but he was a monster. The commentator said something really interesting that I liked. Breece Hall doesn't look at the first guy that's trying to tackle him. He knows he's going to beat him. He's looking downfield to see who he's got to beat downfield. I think that's right. He beats the first guy every time. So he's getting 6-7 yards at least every time. He broke out for a 70-yard touchdown. And that's his third breakout this year. On the first 2, he got caught because he was a little slow. He's a little chubby, a little bit too many nuggies on that snap count. But now he's looking fast. He's looking strong. I really like where Breece Hall's at. Okay. Don't let me forget. Jake Elliott is an absolute god among mortals. I love Jake Elliott. That guy, the Eagles, they get into that red zone a lot. They don't convert that much. Jake Elliott, 3 for 3, 2 for 2 every week. 3 for 3 on field goals, 61-yard field goals. Are you kidding me? He's scoring me an average of 14 points a week, boys. That's unheard of. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't actually have any stats to back that up. But what I do like is Jake Elliott. Number 3 team that I like, Jeffrey Ayers. All the way at the bottom. And I think that Jeff made a couple nice moves this week. I think a couple of players are coming up. And you know who I do like on Jeff's team who's not getting enough credit? Sam Howell. I think he's a terrible quarterback, and I think the Washington Commanders are a pretty bad team. But Sam Howell gives me Blake Bortles vibes, and I like Blake Bortles a lot. It's just trash can fantasy points, and you know he's putting up 20, 30 points every week. So not every week. I mean, there was one week where he had like 5 interceptions, and I think he scored 0 fantasy points. But here nor there, boys, as we like to say. Here nor there. Monty looked awesome. Laporta. Jamar was unstoppable this week. 3 touchdowns. He scored every touchdown. Joe Mixon got stuffed 3 fucking times on the goal line. Then the Bengals turned the ball over on the goal line, get a pick 6, and then Joe Burrow ends up throwing 3 fucking touchdowns to, what's his name? Jamar Chase. He looked unstoppable. If they can keep doing that, Jamar Chase, Jeff, then his team's going to start winning. The last team that I got here, boys, and then I'm going to let you go. Let me take one more sip of my Silver Bully. The last and final team, number 4 team that I like, Magnus Bigelow. Now, this guy, I said, I didn't love his team in the beginning of the year, but I think that he's going to make the playoffs just because I think that he's going to find a way to win. He's never won the league. He's hungry. And you know what I like to say is that hungry dogs do run faster, boys. Hungry dogs do run faster. And I think Gus is a hungry dog. You've seen him up at my house on the couch in that purple bathrobe, looking at his phone, not really watching football, but he's invested. You've seen him out on the golf course. He's getting better. He's shooting under 100 consistently. Justin Fields is coming around. He's had a couple of big weeks. He's starting to look like the Justin Fields of last year. Geno Smith, nice number 2. He's super solid. The Seahawks, I think, are kind of raising some eyebrows around the league. People are pretty surprised at how good the Seahawks look. They got a good run game. They got some good wide receivers. Geno Smith, he's been a second QB to like all the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He knows a thing or two about football. So, good guy to have. And I love that he got that penalty last week after he got hit kind of dirty. Went over on the sidelines, just chatting shit. Gets a little unsportsmanlike conduct call. I loved that. I love the big boy getting that. CD and Debo, I mean, these two guys in your wide receivers positions. I mean, CD, he's just going to get you 15 points every week. Debo is one of those guys that's up and down. The San Francisco 49ers offense is a little scary just because like 1 week it's always Christian, but 1 week it can be Ayuk, 1 week it can be Kittle like it was this week, another week it can be Debo. So they got a lot of people to spread around to, but when Debo goes, he goes big. So it's nice. He's got a nice combo of guys. CD scores 15 every week. DB's got unlimited upside. Debo's got unlimited upside. And he's got Puka in the flex. I mean, that changes teams right there when you pick a guy like that up off waivers. Oh, and then you got Derrick Henry throwing titty passes like he did a couple weeks ago. I mean, Derrick Henry's having a bad year by Derrick Henry stand. I think he's 13th on the running backs list right now. So if he picks it up, Gus's team starts to look really nice. So, week 5, boys, that's what I got. It would be nice if we could start doing little group sessions again. I know it's busy. I know that Eric and Skylar have a lot of golf to play, and that they can't really be recording podcasts like this and stuff. I know Cobb would love to record podcasts, but I'm kind of a shithead when it comes to that. Whenever Cobb asks me, I kind of never feeling it. So, Cobb, I apologize for that, but keep pushing. Don't give up. I'd love to record. I'd love to see your face. So, Week 5, boys. It is Week 5, Monday Night Football. We got Vegas at Green Bay, and we have a big matchup. Skylar Davis against, I don't even care. I think it's Scotty. Who's Skylar playing? I think he's playing Scotty. Let me check here. I've been watching Skylar because I really want him to fall to 3-2. So right now we got Skylar at 108.12. We got Scotty Prescott at 123. Scollage Cotty 123.98. Scollage Cotty's got no more players left. And Maringo, Skylar Davis, has Devontae Adams still yet to play, which Devontae, number 11 wide receiver, he's been kind of up and down this year. He had that shoulder injury last week. And who the fuck is the quarterback? Jimmy Garoppolo's a dum-dum. Aiden, whatever his name is. I mean, who's throwing him the ball? So I think it's a big night for football, big night for the Ivy League. Go Scotty. Scotty, if you hear this, say something in the group chat. Say anything. You know, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I want you to win it. All right? All right, boys. We will talk to you later.
The Ivy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The League of Ivy Extraordinary Gentlemen. You're listening to what we say. We said we had to say. The Ivy League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. The League of Ivy Extraordinary Gentlemen. You're listening to what we say. We said we had to say.